Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now, there has been a poll made between Anthony Joshua and Larry Holmes. It was who would win this fight. Most said that Anthony Joshua would win, while others said that Larry Holmes would. It wasn't a big overall percentage in Anthony Joshua's favour. He just won by 5%, I believe. Anthony Joshua had 52 and Larry Holmes had 47. So most people believe that Anthony Joshua would beat Larry Holmes, but Larry Holmes is not too keen on that idea. He believes that no one from this era would beat anyone from his era. They would not even be around. This is what he had to say. Listen, in my prime, you would not hear of these guys. We'd beat these guys up. They don't even have abilities that we have. They couldn't stand a chance when I was fighting. No contest. So that's what Larry Holmes has had to say in response to his era versus this era. Now, I mean, yeah, they had a lot more neat style, the jab, everything seemed a bit more tidy during Larry Holmes' era, but the only thing about this era is everyone is so much bigger. Anthony Joshua is 6'6", Deontay Wilder 6'7", Tyson Fury 6'9". They're a lot bigger than the previous era of heavyweights. And does size win you fights? No, a brilliant small fighter will always beat a good bigger fighter unless they land one punch, but it's just the size will be so difficult for them to navigate considering they are used to fighting guys their size or similar. I mean, Riddick Bowe was a big heavyweight back then. He was 6'5", or he still is obviously 6'5" or 6'6", but back then, during that period, he was quite a big heavyweight. Now, that's kind of an average sized heavyweight, 6'4", 6'5". And these days, there seems to be a lot more sort of long range boxing. I mean, you see Anthony Joshua keeping fighters on the outside and maybe at some points using that mid-range. But during the previous era, it was a lot more close. There was a lot more obviously covering up and working shots into the body. These days, it seems to be just long-range boxing and power shots. Most fighters in the heavyweight division are boxer punchers. So, I mean, it's a different kind of style to what it was before. That era with Larry Holmes was a great era. The skill, unbelievable. The ability, unbelievable. But during this era, it's a lot different. Back then, you would often see a lot more wars. You would see a lot more evenly matched opponents. You would see the best fighting the best continuously. And I believe that the reason why we don't have a really thick heavyweight division, we do, is a lot more than Vladimir Klitschko's time. But the reason why you don't see so many top heavyweights in this era compared to that one is because they don't fight each other. These days, they get paid a similar amount to fight a lower level opposition. So what they're going to do, get paid a little bit more and fight someone who could potentially put a curveball on their career. They're going to fight the lower level opposition and they can fight intercontinental fights and climb up the rankings to get their shot at the world champion without realistically fighting top guys. Look at Dominic Brazil, got a heavyweight world title shot, yet who has he really beat? And I think that back then as well, a fighter in the heavyweight division could fight on the outside, they could fight at that mid-range, they could fight on the inside also. Now, these days, you kind of have a fighter who can realistically only do it one way. You have a fighter with a set style and they can't really do much else, whereas back then you see like a Lennox Lewis who could box at range, could fight on the inside, could stand there and trade if he has to. And the same as Larry Holmes. Brilliant jab, one of the best in the heavyweight division, and can do it many different ways. These days, the heavyweights seem to be like that one style, and that's it. Take Andy Ruiz Jr. for instance. He's a great fighter, a great inside fighter, but you put him on a good jab and a 1-2 like Anthony Joshua did, and I mean, it's a lot more difficult than that. That makes it sound easy, but still, you do that to him, and he did not know what to do. He was kind of out of ideas after a few rounds. Anthony Joshua just put him on the end of a jab, straight right hand, and then moved extremely well. And Andy Ruiz Jr. could do nothing to close the distance. So Andy Ruiz Jr. then relies on heavyweights coming and engaging with him so he can get on the inside. If they do not do that, then he's going to struggle, especially at the top level. So Larry Holmes saying that anyone in this era would not beat anyone from that era, I believe that that's not true, but I believe that they were probably more rounded fighters back then. It's just the heavyweights of this era are just so big, especially compared to them. The average heavyweight in this era is like 6'4", 6'5", whereas back then, that was quite a big heavyweight. So that's the difference. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Thanks, guys.